Hello, this is Francis Acunzo, CEO and founder of Acara Partners and Reach Beyond Marketing. I'm here today to bring you our final webinar in our summer webinar series. The name of today's webinar, the top 10 questions to ask when buying a cosmetic laser. Over the years, I have bought many lasers for individual businesses, for hospitals, for my own businesses, for our clients' businesses. And I've come up with a set of best practices that need to be adhered to when going through the purchasing process. I've consolidated it into essentially 10 questions to ask before you make a purchase of a cosmetic laser. Okay, before you begin going through the 10 questions, you want to make the decision as to what laser services or procedures that you want to offer or offer next if you're already in the business of cosmetic procedures. That's important. It's not about buying the laser, it's about offering the right services and procedures. So you want to make sure that you're offering what's highly in demand now. So do consumer research. Also conduct competitive research. What are my competitors offering? What are other large cosmetic practices in the nation offering currently? And do industry research. Attend a few trade shows. See what's on the trade show floor. What is the latest, greatest in non-invasive body contouring, in skin rejuvenation, in laser lipolysis, and then begin the process of looking at the lasers that will perform the procedures or services that you've identified that you want to launch in your practice. Okay, question number one. What laser companies do I want to receive quotes from? There's a few things to think about. First off, do they have technology that meets my needs? All right, I've identified my services and procedures. Now I need to identify technology that aligns and or performs those services and procedures. Are they a manufacturer or a distributor? So do they manufacture and sell the device, or they just distribute the device? Oftentimes there's distributors in the US for foreign devices. How long have they been in business? How reputable are they? Did they start when some of the big giants started in the 90s? Or have they just started to be in business in the past 3 to 5 years? Do they have their own service team? This is very important. Some of the smaller companies farm out their service, but you want a laser manufacturer that manufactures, distributes, and has its own service team. And lastly, and really important here, is who are their luminaries? What physicians conducted the clinical studies for the procedures or services and technology that received FDA clearance? What current physicians are using that technology? You want to speak to these physicians. You want to find out what they think about the technology, about the company that they have purchased the technology from. So that's number one. Who are you going to receive quotes from? And make it, a small group. Don't try to talk to 5 to 7 different companies. Look at 1, 2, or 3 laser companies to get information from. All right, now, question number 2. Who can I speak to that has used the same laser, same technology, for at least 3 years? Get as long of a list as you can. Recently, actually I'll tell you a personal story, we had a physician who's thinking about a certain technology, and I said, have them give me 10 references. It was a technology that I wasn't that familiar with, and I figured, hey, I know so many physicians, I'll know at least a few of them if they give me 10. So I did that, and I did know a few of them, so I was able to have a personal reference. You may not be able to do that, but you'd want to get at least, 5 references, physicians that have used the laser for at least 3 years. Next, check their website for any additional references. So see on the website, do a Google search or a doctor locator search in your area. You may know other physicians in your area that you can ask to speak to. Sad but true, most companies, when they give references, they're giving references that they know are going to speak highly of their services or their technology. So it's sometimes good to talk to others as well. What do you want to ask these references? Well, first off, ask them if there's any service issues with the technology. Of course, ask them about the results. You know, are your patients happy? Are you seeing the results that the manufacturer or the sales team actually told you that you will see? Ease of use. Was it easy to use? Is it easy to train on? The responsiveness of the service team. You know, if you have a problem or an issue, will somebody come in with a replacement device quickly? Will they try to troubleshoot it over the phone? So that's really important, that service, because you don't want to be down for very long. You will lose income. The responsiveness of the sales team. I know some salespeople that if they have a doc call them up and say, my laser just went down, they will drop everything and bring their demo on site to make sure that that laser continues to fire. And lastly, and extremely important, is the quality of the training. Do you go to somebody to train? Does somebody come to you? How many hours of training? Also, try to negotiate additional training if you can at time of purchase. That's very important. Number 3, can I have a demonstration and test drive the laser prior to purchasing? Very important question. You want to obviously receive a demonstration and see how the device works, but you also want to see if they'll park that laser at your facility for a week, for 2 weeks. I've seen it for 30 days. And you want to test drive it, see how it works, and see the results that you are receiving from the device. So those are 2 very important things. Receive a demonstration, obviously that's pretty simple, but also see if they will let you test drive that laser for at least a week or 2. Okay, now question number 4. How adaptable is the system for future upgrades? You know, can you add additional devices to be placed in the system? So if it comes with, as we say, 2 bricks in the box, can you add a 3rd? Right? Can you add the latest vaginal rejuvenation system to the device when that comes out, or maybe it is already out, but you're not ready to add that in when you make the purchase of the device? That's very important. Also, if you come out with a newer version, asking the laser company, if you had a newer version, how do I upgrade? Is there going to be an upgrade to my laser, or do I have to actually buy a whole new laser? 2 very important questions to ask when making and before you make a laser purchase. Question number 5, what marketing support do I receive from the laser company? Really important, especially nowadays, because I'm seeing a tremendous amount of support, marketing support from many companies. There's co-op dollars, there is all different ways in which they provide support at events. And I think one of the leaders in this is Zeltique with Cool Sculpting. And a lot of companies are following. I know Cynosure with Sculpture is doing something very similar. I know Cyton does a tremendous amount of support with marketing, and you have a marketing portal. So first off, what consumer advertising has been done, what consumer advertising is currently being done and or coming down the pipeline. We have some of these companies that have full spread ads in consumer publications. What marketing support materials are available to me? So do I have that portal? Am I able to go and access marketing materials through your online portal? Also, will you support an event? Oftentimes they'll support an event by being physically there at the event, or oftentimes they will also provide dollars to help fund the event. So these are all important questions to ask before you make the purchase. What is the marketing support that's provided to my company once I make the purchase of your laser or your technology? Okay, number 6, very simple question. Are there any consumables? All right. Nowadays, I'm finding more and more technology has consumables. I don't have an issue with that. It works fine. You just factor it into your pricing and factoring it into your cost structure. But you need to know what are those consumables before you make the laser purchase. So have them list all consumables and their cost. And also, what is the cost per treatment? You're going to want to know that, because I would highly recommend doing a mini financial model on what you anticipate your sales will be over the next 12 months, and then what you anticipate your direct costs for using the technology will be, whether it be labor or consumables over the next 12 months. So you know where you're going to stand after you make the purchase, spend that money, and determine what type of profit you'll see. Okay, question number 7. What training is included with the purchase of a laser? Now, first off, who does the training? Is it a physician? Is it a nurse trainer? Where does the training take place? Do you come to me? Do I go to another physician's practice? Both things happen. That's oftentimes the case. How many of my team will be trained? If I have 4 nurses and it is a nurse provider service being performed, will you train all 4 nurses? In addition to that, if you're looking to buy additional training, you may want to negotiate that before you finalize the purchase of the laser. Because sometimes it's important to have additional training, to get yourself comfortable with the performance of the procedure. So the day you start performing with real patients, you have that confidence. Number 8, what type of warranty or service agreement is included with the purchase of the laser? First off, how long is the warranty? What does the warranty cover? Is it labor, parts, travel? Can I purchase additional years of warranty up front at a discount? And what level of a discount? Warranties are a funny thing, especially if you're leasing or financing a laser. They like to put in 3 years typically, I find most laser companies. But if you're financing over 5 or 6 or 7 years, or a 10-year financing if you're a new startup company, you're not aligning the financing with the life of the asset. So the life of the laser, it's 5 years, up to 10 years. I'm really comfortable with financing that 5, 7, or 10 years. But the life of a 3-year warranty is exactly that, 3 years. So you have usefulness for those first 3 years, but you're paying for it, and it's expensive when you're financing it over 5 years. So just think about that when you're looking to make a purchase of a laser and thinking about that warranty. Also, what is the turnaround time for a service call? Ask them that. Hopefully they're going to be honest with you. When you're checking references, you can always ask that question as well. What's the number of service calls per laser per year? Most reps know this number, because it's a question that they do get asked. It's average service call is 1.5. Average service call is less than 1 for this type of laser. So ask that question. Hopefully they're going to be honest with you. And then finally, what internal diagnostics are in the laser to help with the service process? Some of the lasers have great internal diagnostics. Up come the codes, you're on the phone with the laser company, the service center, and they're having you process some of these fixes right there without bringing somebody in, which can be expensive, especially if you don't have a warranty. All right, question number 9. These are the clinical questions. It's actually a long list of questions, and there's many other clinical questions that you're going to ask because you're a clinical provider. You're the physician looking to make that purchase of a laser. I am not a clinical provider, but I'll give you some direction here. You want to ask what wavelengths or filters are available with this device. You want to ask what are the deliverable spot sizes or footprints with the device. What's the range of energies that the device can deliver on each spot size? What is the deliverable pulse time in milliseconds or nanoseconds or pico of each of the settings that you have? You want to find out what are the wattage ability of the cooling system for the patient. What is the cooling range in degrees Celsius, of course? And lastly, is it a 110 volt or a 220 volt system? And was there a clinical decision made as to why it's 110 or 220? These are just a few questions to ask, clinical questions. There are many others, and I'll leave that up to you as the physician. And finally, number 10, and maybe the most important question, how much does the laser cost? You want to make sure you're looking at apples to apples when you're looking at one company and comparing it to another company, right? Align them as closely as possible. Build a spreadsheet. Put down the different items that are in the box and the cost. Warranties, is it 1 year over here and it's 3 years over there, and maybe you want to either have them quote up to 3 years or have them quote down to 1 year. So you're looking at the apples to apples on that spreadsheet. Negotiate. Everything's negotiable. You will always get a better deal, especially if you're talking to more than one company, and make sure that they know that. All right? And always try to do this at an end of a quarter, especially with the publicly traded companies. They want to have their quarterly results as high as possible, thus they want to sell as many lasers as possible at the end of a quarter. Year end, fiscal year end, even better. You'll get the best deals at that point in time. So I tell you, good luck with negotiating a new laser. Make sure you're buying it because you want to implement a service and or procedure, and you're going to go look for technology that will be able to accommodate that. Go through these 10 steps, ask a lot of questions. Don't be pressured by the salespeople. That's their job. Your job is to make the best possible clinical decision for your patients. Thank you for joining me today for the top 10 questions to ask when purchasing a laser. If you'd like to speak further and have additional questions before you make your next laser purchase, feel free to call me at any time here at Acara Partners.